The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Chenwei stepped forward, her worn diplomatic robes a stark contrast to the gleaming biometal of the alien delegates surrounding her. The humans had been part of the council for barely a decade, still considered newcomers by species who measured their civilizations in millennia. Honored delegates, Chen began, her voice steady despite the weight of what she was about to propose. The Void Stalkers have breached the outer rim. 3 colonies have gone dark in the past week. A ripple of dismissive clicks and hisses echoed through the chamber. The Zephyrian representative, Kexathal, raised his crystalline head. Ambassador Chen, surely you understand the protocol. The Void Stalkers operate beyond our jurisdiction. They are a force of nature, not a military threat. We can combat. With respect, Chen replied. Humans don't accept the concept of unstoppable forces. This earned actual laughter from several delegates. The ancient Etherian High Counselor, Yevena, whose people had witnessed the rise and fall of 100 species, spoke with the patience one might show a child. Dear human, your species has such colorful imagination. We have studied your historical records. Dragons, demons, gods walking among mortals. Such fascinating fiction. But the Void Stalkers are reality. They have consumed entire star systems. They do not negotiate, they do not retreat, and they cannot be destroyed. Chen's jaw tightened. Every culture here has dismissed human myths as primitive storytelling. But perhaps you should ask yourselves why every human culture, across every continent and era, told stories of ordinary people standing against impossible odds and winning. The debate that followed was predictable. The Zephyrians cited their 1,000-year database of Void Stalker encounters. The Etherians spoke of ancient wisdom and accepting the natural order. The warrior Krex simply stated that even their battle-hardened fleets avoided Void Stalker territory. By the session's end, the official council response was clear. Strategic withdrawal from threatened sectors and reinforcement of inner defenses. Humanity's proposal for a direct assault was noted and filed under impractical suggestions. Chen left the chamber knowing that Earth's military had already made their decision regardless of council approval. 3 days later, the UES Defiance dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system, where the Void Stalkers' massive bioships had been detected consuming the star's outer planets. Captain Sarah Nakamura stood on the bridge of the modified heavy cruiser, watching as her sensors painted a picture that would have sent any sensible fleet running. Ma'am, reported Lieutenant Commander Vasquez, I count 43 Stalker vessels. Smallest one is twice our size. The largest... He paused, recalibrating. The largest is 17 kilometers long. Acknowledged, Nakamura replied calmly. Status on Project Lancelot? Chief Engineer Park looked up from his console, sweat beading on his forehead despite the controlled atmosphere. The Lance is charged and stable, Captain. But I have to say, even if this works, we only get one shot before they swarm us. Nakamura nodded. The weapon her ship carried was built on theories that made the Council's best scientists shake their heads in bewilderment. Humans, they said, had a disturbing tendency to treat the impossible as merely difficult. Signal the fleet, she ordered. What happened next would be debated in xenobiology journals for decades. The Defiance began broadcasting on all frequencies, not coordinates or tactical data, but something far stranger. Human voices, singing an ancient song about heroes sailing into the unknown. Behind them came 12 other ships, each one broadcasting their own piece of humanity's defiant mythology. The Void Stalkers, creatures that had devoured civilizations since before the first Council species achieved spaceflight, turned their attention to this insignificant fleet with what might have been curiosity. They're moving toward us, Vasquez reported. 43 contacts closing fast. Target the largest vessel, Nakamura ordered. Charge the Lance to full power. The Defiance shuddered as every system fed power into the experimental weapon. At its heart lay technology that shouldn't have worked. A quantum resonance disruptor based on theoretical physics and powered by what human engineers called sheer bloody-mindedness. "Captain," Park called out, "the weapon is ready, but—" "I know the risks, Chief. Fire." A beam of impossible light lanced out from the Defiance, striking the largest Void Stalker ship dead center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the 17-kilometer behemoth simply stopped. Its bioluminescent patterns flickered and died. Secondary explosions began cascading along its hull. The other Stalker ships hesitated, the first recorded instance of Void Stalkers showing anything resembling uncertainty. "All ships target at will," Nakamura commanded. What followed was less a battle than a revelation. The human fleet, each ship equipped with weapons that defied conventional physics, tore through the Stalker formation with ruthless efficiency. Ships that had consumed worlds found themselves outmaneuvered by vessels a fraction of their size, destroyed by weapons that their ancient knowledge insisted couldn't exist. In 47 minutes, it was over. 43 Void Stalker ships lay dead in space, their biohulls cooling in the stellar wind. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of receiving the Defiance's after-action report. The chamber was in chaos as delegates struggled to process what they'd witnessed through long-range sensors. "Impossible," Yavena repeated for the 100th time. "The Void Stalkers cannot be destroyed. Our records—" "Your records," Chen interrupted, standing before the assembly with quiet satisfaction, "didn't account for human stubbornness. You see, honored delegates, you made a critical error in understanding our species. You looked at our myths and saw primitive superstition. We looked at them and saw instruction manuals." She gestured to the holographic display showing the battle's aftermath. Every culture in human history told stories about heroes who refused to accept defeat, who found ways to kill the unkillable, who turned mythology into reality through sheer determination. You thought these were fairy tales. We knew they were prophecies. Kexthal's crystalline voice cracked with disbelief. "But the physics of your weapons, they violate fundamental laws of—" "Laws," Chen smiled, "are made to be broken. That's perhaps the most human thing of all. The Council voted unanimously to grant humanity full tactical authority over Void Stalker containment operations. Some myths, they learned, were just history waiting to happen. And in the deepest archives of human literature, poets and storytellers smiled, knowing their greatest truth had finally been recognized. The most dangerous thing in the universe wasn't any alien horror or cosmic force. It was a human who refused to give up.